Shalom, Israel. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BASHAM Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who teach and rule well at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one, Training in Righteousness. Training in Righteousness. And see, right now, the elect of the tribes, the 12 lost tribes of Israel, out of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, into the Israelites that scattered into the other countries that look like the other nations, into the Israelites into other nations that look like the other nations. You see, you know, the Lord is raising up a remnant that's not like the rest of you so-called Jakes. You see, and they're you know, since we can't perform or do all the laws perfectly in the land of our captivity, we are rehearsing the righteous acts. You know, we're practicing them. We're practicing them. You see? You know, and you have a lot of Jakes, two-thirds of you, you know, you are so far gone in the way of the heathen, in the way of the enemy. You're trying to build businesses here in this place, America. You're trying to, you know, stack your cash and your gold and silver. You know, you're seeking to save your life, but that to the two-thirds of Jake of Israel. You know, this is what they're doing. You know, you're sending your kids to school. You're training them up into become a doctor. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to get your kid to learn about medication and becoming. There's nothing wrong, but to train them up and like this is what your goal, ultimate goal, is supposed to be. You're going off. Because you're supposed to be training up your child and to go into the ways of the Lord and to teach them. You're supposed to be training them up unto these law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. This is first and foremost. You got Jake too training herself to become a RN nurse. You know, athlete, a track runner, an engineer. It's, you know, it's okay to learn these traits. It's okay. But to put that first in the and to be, you know, that's the ultimate goal. You're going to make 300,000 or whatever that you know, and you'll be able to live good, you know, save your money, you know, start a business. You know, this is what Jake, you know, is training their kids up to be, to go to the NFL, to go to the NBA, to play, you know, hockey or, you know, whatever else. You know, Jake, to training their kid to become a musician, an entrepreneur. You know, they're training they're training their kids, or Jake is in training, you know, to train up themselves to put themselves in that field. You see, but you're supposed to be training. You're supposed to be training and rehearsing in righteousness, man. See, you have a lot of Jakes that's in these different fields that, yeah, they're training to become a doctor. Yeah, they're training to become a lawyer or a judge or a firefighter. But you know what? They're committing adultery. They're committing adultery, and then they're laughing to their friends, or and especially Jake. Yeah, she's married, but she was so on me, and we got it on. Last night. This was Jake. A man of Jake. Tell their friends and stuff, and I got this other girl. She's married too, but she's saying her husband isn't happy. You see. But you've been in training all this time, and you done went to college, and you didn't train yourself, or they didn't, you've been in training to become a firefighter or a lawyer or a doctor or a pilot. I don't, whatever you wanted it. Jake trains their, they'll get in training to do their, to go in that field. They'll spend all their hours and time doing that to make sure they get that big money. But they're committing adultery, they're smoking weed, they're eating all the abominable foods. They're not training in righteousness. They're not rehearsing the righteous acts. You see? Jake is in, 2/3 of Jake is in wickedness. They're training themselves, getting trained how to gang bang. How to rob and steal and hit licks. That's what Jake, 2/3 of Jake is doing. They're not training in righteousness. And how do you train in righteousness? You open up this book and read this book. You see? And pray to the Lord. But 2/3 of Jake don't want to do that. Now on the flip side, the Lord has a remnant, a certain remnant of people that's out of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and to the Israelites scattered across the globe into these other nations. The Lord is raising up a remnant, and they're training in righteousness. You see? Let's get to the scriptures. This remnant ain't like the typical Jake out here smoking weed and, sneaking and committing adultery and, eating all the abominable foods and, celebrating all these holidays, celebrating Christopher Columbus Day and Halloween and Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving, celebrating their birthdays. There's a remnant that they're not doing none of that. They're training in righteousness to become holy. To celebrate the Lord YAHAWAHSHI's all his holy days to the best of their ability. You see, to celebrate, the different these different holy days. Training themselves to stop eating pork and shrimp and crab and lobster and all the abominable foods, training themselves, not to commit adultery. Your best friend or your brother's wife or cousin, your brother's wife or your friend's wife, likes you and wants to have sex with you, and you end up having sex with her, and committing adultery. Or worshiping these false idols, New Year's and Christmas. All these holidays, this idol worship. You're worshiping sports. You're worshiping work and these false gods. You see, there's a remnant the Lord is raising up. And they're training in righteousness. Let's go to Job. We understand, Jake, that you have to work and have some money to feed your family, if you have a family, or to maintain in society. But when you don't go and do thus said the Lord and put his work first and do what he says, the Lord understands everything. We're in the land of, he put us here in our captivity. You see? But like I said, Jake goes and you know, get some training on how to be fit and how to be a bodybuilder, or, you know, do some exercise or be a trainer. You know, you're not training you're not training in righteousness, man. To not smoke weed and do drugs, Jake. Because Jake does coke, Jake does meth, Jake does pills, Jake sips syrup, promethazine. You know, Jake does it all. They eat all the abominable foods. You know, you're not training yourself and disciplining yourself to not do those things, and to commit adultery, and to gangbang, and to lie, rob, steal, and kill. You're not training yourself up to be holy. See, you train yourself in the ways of the men of the world, Jake. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Jake is proud when they, you know, work hard and they didn't train themselves in business and communication. You know, they didn't went to school and got trained for some type of training, and then they prosper in their business. You know, they feel good. You can't tell them nothing. You see? But they weren't in training in righteousness, because they can learn all that stuff and they'll go right into the world and eat all the abominable foods and celebrate all these pagan holidays and all this idol worship and commit adultery and smoke weed and do drugs and steal and rob and do all type of stuff, man. You see? So let's go to Job 5. Or Salakia, Job 10. Job 10 and 21, and it reads. Job 10 and 21, and it reads, before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness. This place is the land of darkness. This place is in full grown, gross darkness. You can lay with man on man. You can lay with women on women. You can eat anything you want to. You can worship anything you want to. The government is corrupted. The leaders of this country are corrupted. You can do crime and get away with it. There's no justice here for Jake. This is the land of darkness. There's no democracy in this land. America, Babylon. They've blasphemed the Lord. Before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. This is the shadow of death. This place is the shadow of death, because you could die at any point. You could die of eating some food and get sick. You can get shot down and gunned by the so-called police. You can you could die of a disease in this place. This is the land of the shadow of death, man. Like it tells you in Psalm 23. Quote me if I'm wrong. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, this is that place, America, Babylon. You have all type of ways to die, man. 22. A land of darkness. This place is a land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. This place is without any order. This place, America, Babylon, is without any order. The women could put their hands on men and get away with it. Women can put their hands on men and get away with it. And the men go to prison. The women tell the men what to do in this place. Women can lie with other women. Men can lie with other men. You can eat any kind of food that you want to. This place promotes adultery. This place promotes corruption and murder. This place promotes pedophilia. This place blasphemes the Lord and tell you that the Lord loves everybody and that he's a so-called blonde-haired, blue-eyed. You see, this place is so far out of order. This place enslaves Jakes and even ultimately their own people, and how you working 13, 14, 15 hours and getting paid, every 2 weeks. You're getting paid $13, $14 an hour and getting paid every 2 weeks, $500. This place is out of order, man. This place is completely out of order. Let's go to Psalm 107. Psalm. YAHAWAHSHI. Let's go to Psalm 107. Psalm 107 and 8. And it reads, "Oh, that men would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men." See, oh, that men would praise the Lord for his goodness. See, the Lord he's righteous, man. There is absolutely no way that what these so-called white folks have done to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, what you have done all this time, man. What you have done to just let you prosper and get away and then go, and the Lord loves everybody and saves everybody. That wouldn't make him righteous, man. You see, the Lord is righteous, man. What you do evil, the Lord told you, man. Roughly paraphrasing it, sin, transgress. What did he say? Roughly paraphrasing it. Quote me if I'm wrong. The acts of sin is death, man. Quote me if I'm wrong. Just roughly paraphrasing it. But the acts of sin is death. You see, you commit sin is death, but this is ultimately to Jake, man. You see, but the wicked, on what they have done, they're gonna pay for that, which is Esau, Edom, and these white folks, and these other nations. You see. Let me go to, I'll close out with this. Proverbs. This is the last one I'll close out. Proverbs 29 and 15. Proverbs 29 and 15, and it reads, The rod reproof give wisdom. You see, the rod. See, you have the rod and then you have the staff. You see, the rod is for discipline. Old people use a staff to, for help. The staff represents this book, this knowledge, the Lord's words. That's the staff. And then you also have the rod, where the Lord sends trouble and evilness and danger. That is the rod for correction. And the Lord has sent that on Jake. He's sent the rod on Jake all this time. This is why you don't, as a whole, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you know, to Jake, you know, to Jake all across the world. This is why you got it hard, because the Lord, as a nation of people of Israel, the Lord is sent the rod against you because of your behavior. Your behavior. The Lord judges, he judges off nations. You see, in the nation of Israel, his people, he has sent the rod against us, and it because of our behavior and the chastisement. See? He sent that rod on us. This is why we got to live into terrible conditions. We go to the worst schools. You know, we have the worst jobs. We have the least billionaires. You know, the least businesses. You know, we have to work and slave all day. You know, the average Jakes, they put in their 9 to 5, and they're getting paid $600-700 every 2 weeks. This is why our kids continue to get gunned down, you know, by the police, and, you know, they gun each other down. This is that rod for correction. See? See? And Jake don't understand that, man. Jake don't understand that. The rod and the staff. The staff is this word, the Lord's words, for our help, for our comfort. Okay, this is, okay, this is the law, statutes, and commandments. This is what to do, and this is what not to do. But 2/3 of Jake, they don't understand this, and they don't want to open up this book and read. So the Lord has to bring that rod through for correction. You see? But, you know, the Lord's raising up a remnant. You know, he's raising up a remnant right now out of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians all across the globe. A remnant out of Jake, the elect. He's raising them up, putting them in order, and becoming whole, and training themselves in righteousness to become holy. You see? And the Lord's going to deliver his elect in this time of trouble. But you 2/3, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, to the rest, you know, the 2/3 of Jake that don't want to train in righteousness and learn and listen and seek the Lord God of Israel, you're going to be put to death. Shalom.